Hi. Um, so yeah, there's been so many things happening and I um I don't know why I waited so long because there was so many topics coming up that I wanted to comment on, but I just wasn't feeling it at the time. Um I have like minor arthritis. I'm 43 and it really affects my like shoulder and neck and sometimes it's like anybody who has like an invisible kind of inflammatory condition knows like sometimes you can deal and sometimes you can't, and I have not been dealing. So like I've been working and I couldn't even like I wanted to um just reinvigorate my shop on eBay, so I pulled everything down before October and I wanted to reload everything and redo the copy and everything in my eBay shop and on my Mercari. And I just didn't because I knew that I didn't really have the energy to fulfill the orders and work. So, yeah, I mean, it was probably not the smartest thing to do, but like self care first, right? So, I mean, it's not like I have a lot of faith that the things I bought to resell, all the stuff I have to resell, will sell either way. But if anybody is watching this and you are in the Washington D.C. metro area and you are into reselling, like leave me a comment and maybe I can sell you this lot of reselling things, because you might have a more, um, I wouldn't say profitable, but you have more of a system and you're ready for the holiday season and you can use some inventory. Anyways, that's another topic. But yeah, I've been just kind of run down, a little burnt out, and just taking things slowly. So I haven't been talking about topics that have been really just like sort of running around in my head. Um, I am going to talk about Dave Chappelle for the last time, um, Kyle Rittenhouse, Ahmaud Arbery, um, uh, the verdicts in both of those trials, um, Insecure on HBO Max, We're Here on HBO Max, and maybe a little bit of Real Housewives of Potomac. I didn't really watch that season, so I'm not really. I just wanted to say, like, I do. I'll start with that because it's really recent and it's not a lot to say. But I do love how Nicki Minaj kind of flipped the script on her public image, and she's really good at talk. She's good at talk, and I love the fact that they allowed her to have that hour on the couch as a host of Real Housewives. I think that is an excellent idea to have famous super fans come in and ask super fan questions. Um, oh man, I feel like I look so dusty. You know, the thing about having gray hair is on camera, it just, not even on camera, just like even in the mirror, it just looks like pimples to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me fighting aging, but it is what it is. The skin is still snatched. But yeah, like the Real Housewives of Potomac, I like having Nicki Minaj on that couch to ask the women questions, sister to sister. I feel like she fits in with that group. It's the black upper middle class sort of bougie lifestyle is a very specific life. It is a small group of people. It's a very specific culture, and having somebody who's like the icon of that lifestyle talk to women who live that life, I think it makes way more sense than listening to Andy's ass ask these questions. Um, and yeah, I think it's time for him to take a back seat to the brand in a lot of ways. He's just he. It's time for him to move on. Is flip the chapter on his own life and move on in a lot of ways. And I think like starting to hand over the reins to people who understand entertainment. Um, I think, I mean, he's done what he can. He's brought it this far. I think it's time to hand it over. And this was a great, I feel like, reinvigorating, experiment. And I like Nicki Minaj in that seat. I like her in that role. Um, you know, um, let's see. So yeah, I mean, oh, Wendy Williams. That was a topic I wanted to talk about, but that kind of came and went. I just feel like she's at a point in her career where she probably needs a break, and I feel like people should lay off of her because she admittedly has, first of all, she's dealing with the loss of her mom. She has addiction issues. She has health problems. All those things happening at the same time as a scandalous divorce and a transitional relationship with her only child. It's a lot going on, and a lot of people don't survive those life adjustments. A lot of people, we don't talk about that a lot in our culture, um, transitioning, and how do we support each other in those things. And I, we we look at people who are succeeding and we expect them to be superheroes, and I think we expect that of ourselves in a lot of ways, and then we either put ourselves down because we can't handle a lot, or we lift people who can handle a lot up on pedestals, and it's all about balance. And as Funky Duneva repeatedly says, it's true. Either you're going to pay on the front end or you're going to pay on the back end, and that's just um, what we're seeing with Wendy. Is she is the queen of pretty much the entertainment landscape that we live in today. Like before, um, there were Twitter trolls and like Reddits, and I mean, I think opinion and gossip have always been there, but this sort of intersection of sort of a sort of pop culture life and sort of a hood entrepreneur. um I mean, that's what that's the kind of blueprint of what, that's why I'm here. I'm I don't I wouldn't not want my own show or to be a TV personality or media personality, but like if I can build this up to, this, just doing this on YouTube, up to get some little minor income, like why not? It's an option. And she was a big part of putting that option into culture. And so, I mean, I respect her, and I just hope she's resting. And uh, man, I mean, I have a mom who's in that transitional period right now, and it's going rough for her. And my heart goes out to women who, it being a mom is I couldn't imagine it. It's not shoes I don't think a lot of people get to walk in, and a lot of people who do it, they just don't get the recognition, of how truly a mind fuck it is to be a mom. Like it's my hat goes out to just all moms, and like I understand what Wendy's going through as a recovering addict myself, and a person who has invisible illnesses. And I couldn't imagine going through these things, and also going through a divorce and losing a parent. It's just a lot. My heart goes out to her. But I do think Sherry Shepherd would be a great, not replacement for Wendy, but Sherry Shepherd knows that territory, and she is just enough of silly and lighthearted, and a good communicator. And she's also like she's a little wacky and kooky, and she has, I think she has just enough of all the things to be someone who could hold that spot. Or, I mean, Ellen's leaving soon too. So I don't know. There's a lot of shift going on in daytime TV and in entertainment, and in opinion, that I think there's space for more, for a changing of the guard in a lot of ways. So yeah, I guess that was just like all lumped together, like the reality TV portion. There are other things I do want to talk about in reality TV, but I want to just try and get through all the hot topics that have been on my noggin. The thing that prompted me to get on camera was watching Adrian Expression talk about this last episode of Insecure. And I've been a big fan of Issa Rae since Awkward Black Girl, like most of us who are YouTube, watchers. And I'm tired of her dragging me. Like, I don't know if I've ever been as insecure in my life as I am right now. But this season has been crazy. The way I feel like I relate to the topics, and just sort of like watching the show and realizing Issa Rae is saying that this show is basically like her worst nightmare version of herself. And me looking at it, thinking so many times how much I relate to Issa D, um, in my past and like in my current life, because we all face new journeys in life where we're not really the most confident, or especially if you're a person who is a creative or if you're an entrepreneur, you kind of live on a razor's edge a lot of times, and you live with insecurity in a lot of ways, and that's the whole point of having the character she has, spread across the spectrum of personalities that she does, is that we all face insecurity at different points of a day, different points of our lives, with each relationship, and as each relationship grows and morphs, it puts us in different places. But if she's saying that Issa D is her, if she didn't know what she was doing, she is reading the fuck out of most of us, and I appreciate it. I see a lot of people reacting to her relationship with the Kofi Sorbo character of Crenshaw, and I just want to let people know, like, what that relationship is showing you. If Issa D is saying this is her without her knowing, if she didn't know who she was or wanted to be, what she's saying is that is the way people who are confident and have principles and values and have been through the fire, that's how they look at people who are insecure. That's how they treat you. That's how they talk to you. And even if they aren't talking to you that way, I mean, this is a dramatic presentation, so everything is cut for time. But basically, that's how it feels. Like, even if the person is saying something just direct and to the point, it feels like you're being read to filth when you're talking to a person who is confident and has laser focus on what they're doing, and you are playing middleman instead of being a person who is laser focused and confident about what you're doing. I think a lot of us make the mistake of going into jobs that put us around people who I think a theme of the show, and she does this brilliantly. Um, she she talks about the theme of self reliance and self care and self help juxtaposed against uh, help. um, Giving somebody a hand up, giving somebody a chance, all these things that um, I remember Chris Rock saying in a comedy special that, like, if you're going to be black and successful, you damn well better be doing something good. You have to contribute to the community in order to succeed as a black person, because we we tend to tear down figures who seem to come off as, selfish or iconoclastic, or um, people who are just, on their own sort of mission. And I think what Issa Rae is proposing is there's a way to be both confident and community driven without giving up your entire identity. And many of us are struggling with how to do that, in a lot of ways and for a lot of reasons. And in her life, Issa Rae is showing that she wants to highlight her community. She wants to invest in her community. She wants to show in every way that that is not impossible, and that is not that should not be looked at as some sort of uh, charitable uh, cause. That it is profitable, that it is smart business to focus on who you are, where you come from, investing in those things where there's value. And I feel completely read. Like, I'm a person who that is has been a key feature in my life. That's a key feature of doing this type of media and content is, you know there's a big part of me that does this selfishly because I'm a writer and I'm a person who thinks a lot. I'm contemplative, but there's not a lot of places to put thoughts anymore that feel like, when you're older and you're not in college and you're not sitting around with friends all the time, just sort of shooting the shit. There, there's this imperative to have your voice heard, but it does feel kind of like navel gazing to be just sort of like talking to my phone and then putting it out for the world to see and possibly hold against me later and all these things. And that's just insecurity. That is feeling less than confident. That's not really having a purpose for why I'm doing this. That's me exposing myself as to why I'm doing this. I am doing this from a place of insecurity, a place of this is how I'm journaling my thought pattern and how I express myself. And it is necessary, but at the same time, completely something that needs to be gotten over and just owned. It's just, I'm an opinionated person who thinks and talks, and I communicate well for some people. And I like sharing my thoughts, and I shouldn't feel poorly about that. But that's the state I'm in. I'm looking at every flaw, every spot in my head, every hair on my face, my background, all these things. I want everything to be perfect and better, and all these things. Um, you know, there's a part of me that's like, oh, gosh, I wish this would just take off and I could just sort of sit back and collect some AdSense money and get some brand deals. And that might make my life a little easier, or why I'm doing this more justified. But the fact of the matter is, I'm just a person who likes to chit chat about art and culture and Um, yeah, I just, it makes sense to do it this way. But I do beat myself up for wanting to do this, and so I don't do it that much. And it's kind of silly. It's a it's a bit of a tug of war. Um, but yeah, so Issa Rae, please, and thank you for reading me to filth and reading all of us to filth. But yeah, I'm gonna need you to stop. Okay, so this is 20 minutes. That usually takes forever to upload, so I'm gonna stop here, and then I'm gonna do another part when it to talk about Coward House and the Ahmaud Arbery verdicts. So, yeah, come back for part 2.